Hello students, welcome back to my channel Essential English with Ridvan. I'm so excited to teach you past continuous and past simple and the difference between them in today's video. So keep watching. Before we start, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. Get your free exercises lesson from the description underneath this video. This lesson is to help you learn and start using all the English verb tenses one by one. So the past continuous tense is used quite often in English. So let's understand exactly when to use it and how to use it. Are you ready? Let's begin. So when we want to talk about the past in English, there are two basic tenses: the past simple and the past continuous. Okay. An example of a past simple is, for example, past simple I did. Of a past continuous, I was doing. Okay, when we use the past simple, we are referring to something that happened at a specific point in time. Okay, it happened at a specific point in time in the past. But when we use past continuous, we're talking about something that continued during a period in the past. Okay, here we're just talking about the one action I did and that's it. But here we want to emphasize that, okay, a period of time. Let's look at an example here with our timeline. You see here 9 a.m., 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Let's say 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the past. I started, for example, working at 9 a.m. and finished at 5 p.m. Okay, I finished work at 5 p.m. and I started my work at 9 a.m. It's past simple, specific point. Okay, these are points. But if I wanna say, if I wanna talk about a period from 9 till 5 p.m., what I was doing between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., I'm gonna use past continuous. I was working, maybe I was doing something from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Okay, and this period of time, it's past continuous. I was working from 9 till 5 p.m. And how to build past continuous? It's really easy. The subject I, was or were, with we, they, you, we have to use were, he, she, it, I, was, plus do, plus ing, and that's it. Now let's look at another example here. You see 1, 2, 3 and 4. In the first picture you see a man, for example, Jack, book and phone. He was reading a book in the past, okay, and his phone ran. Second, he is reading a book right now, or not right now, in the past he was in the middle of reading a book. He was reading, he was in the process, and his phone ran. Okay, and in the next picture he stopped reading and he's gonna take his phone. And the fourth picture, he's talking on the phone with someone. What does it mean? He was reading, he was in the middle of his reading a book, his phone ran and he stopped reading his book and he answered his phone. That means while he were reading, his phone ran, and he were reading is the process. He was in the middle of his reading. That's why we have to use past continuous, or maybe present continuous or maybe future continuous. It's the process. Okay, let's look at some another examples. For example, what happened? His phone rang. Okay, past simple. What was Jack doing when his phone rang? What you see here? What was Jack doing when his phone rang? He was reading. You see here, he was reading a book. Past continuous. What did he do when his phone rang? He stopped reading. You see here, he stopped reading. It's completed action and answered his phone. Jack began, but Jack began reading his phone before began reading his book before his phone rang. So when his phone rang, you see here, when his phone rang, he was reading a book. Firstly, he was reading a book. After that, his phone rang. Okay, you see here timeline. He was reading. The process. His phone rang. You see here, and he stopped reading his book. And when we are talking about past continuous, we are talking about an action that continues a period of time. Okay, let's look at some another examples. What did you do yesterday morning? Okay, you see here, what did you do yesterday morning? We played tennis, for example. We played a game. I went to my parents. It's something like that. For example, we played tennis, and from 9 to 11:30, for example, we played tennis. It's complete action. We played, and that's it. What were you doing at 10:30? At a specific time, not at 10 o'clock, not at 11:30, but 10:30. And you say, we were playing tennis. We were in the process. We played, it's completed. It's complete action. But we were playing unfinished action from the beginning to the end. For example, Jack read a book yesterday. What does it mean? From the beginning to the end, he read that book. Okay. For example, another examples. Did you watch the game on TV last night? That means, did you finish? It's completed action. It's not, for example, past continuous. Okay. The next one. It didn't rain while we were on holiday. It's completed action. It didn't rain. Jack was reading a book when his phone rang. It's past continuous. He was reading. He started reading, for example, 30 minutes ago, and right now in the past, he was reading, and maybe after only 2 hours, he will be stopped his reading, his process of reading. But when he was reading at a specific time in the past, he was reading a book when his phone rang. That means here he was in the process, he was reading and his phone rang. Okay, and that's why we have to use past continuous. And the next one, were you watching TV when I phoned you? When I phone you, it means at a specific point. For example, you can phone me at 11 o'clock. For example, you cannot phone me from 10 till 12 o'clock. It's not correct. You phone me at a specific point at 10:25, for example. And that's why we're asking, were you watching TV? You was in the middle of the watching TV. You was in the process of watching TV. Okay, it's an action. Okay, during the action, it wasn't raining when I got up. When I got up, for example, at 7:25, and when I got up, that means at 7:25, it wasn't raining. There wasn't any process of raining. Okay, it was shining, for example. I started work at 9 a.m. and finished at 4 p.m. Okay, it's complete the action. I started and I finished. At 2:30 I was working. What does it mean? From 9 for 2 he was working. At 2:30 I was working. Of course, from 9 and 2 I was in work, and I was working at 2:30. At 2:30 it's a specific time I was working, or you can say I was working from 9 till 4 p.m. It's a process. I was in the middle of that day where I'm working, for example, where I was working. It was raining when we went out. That means it started raining before we went out. It was raining when we went out. For example, we would like when in the past we would like to go out at 5 p.m. and it was raining. For example, it started raining from 4 p.m. and it will continue, for example, 6. But between 4 and 6, 5, when we went out, for example, at 5 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock it was raining. It already started. That's why it's the process, and when the process, we have to use past continuous. I saw Lucy and Steve this morning. The next one, I saw. It's just complete action. I saw, and you cannot say I was seeing. See, we cannot use in present in continuous. It's non-continuous verb. They were waiting at the bus stop. What they were doing? They were waiting for maybe for 1 hour, maybe for 2 hours. Okay. The next and the last one, Ben fell asleep while she was waiting. It's complete action. He fell asleep, and that's why. But she was reading while she was reading. It was a process. She was reading, for example, 30 minutes, and during that time he fell asleep. He fell asleep. For example, at 11:45 p.m. But she was reading at 11:30. She was starting, he's reading, her reading, and Ben asleep, fell asleep. And that's why when we're talking about process, when we're talking about action, I mean process. If you wanna emphasize what we were doing at some specific point, or maybe from some specific point to some specific point, from 9, for example, 11, we have to use past continuous. Okay, it was the end of our today's lesson. Good job, guys. Be sure to check out my other videos in order to repeat the other English rules or learn some new ones. Enjoy learning English, and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button if you didn't do that already, so you don't miss out on future content. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.